In the original Kid Icarus, Palutena was, for lack of a better word, the MacGuffin, an objective that the hero had to reach in order to beat the game. It was similar to the other damsels in distress of the time like Peach and Zelda. You know she's important because the game manual told you so, you find her after you kill the final boss, she says thank you and boom, game is over. But just like other things in the original Kid Icarus, there are a set of twists that are able to make Palutena stand out even compared to the more popular girls of the time. First off, her title of goddess compared to the more grounded royalty of the princess, and that warrior-like aesthetic elevates her design a little bit. The inspiration to the goddess Athena is obvious, but the prefix Pal in her name derives from Pallas, which is both an epithet for the goddess of wisdom or a friend's of her, depending on the version of the myth. Being the one who turned Medusa into a monster also correlates her to Hera, and the title of Goddess of Light can be an homage to various light team gods. But I imagine it was mostly attached to her for the classic trope of good versus evil. You know, the light is often the manifestation of good and the darkness is always the manifestation of bad things. Easy to understand concept, even if not 100% accurate when it comes to recreation of classic tales. Considering the limitation of NES titles, one can imagine that a cool inspiration is all there is to Palutena. But surprisingly, the game goes out of its way to implement her in a pretty interesting mechanic. Kid Icarus is made by the same team behind the original Metroid, and both games had a scoring system that, depending on your points, collectibles, or time of completion, will affect your ending screen and therefore the epilogue of your adventure. While the Metroid endings are basically different layers of white woman jumpscare, the variants of the Kid Icarus screen are entirely dependent by Palutena herself. The goddess will lend a blessing to Pete, that after saving the world will be rewarded with a form that encapsulates his courage and power. What's it gonna be? Maybe an handsome tall man ready to receive a godly kiss, or maybe a valiant soldier with a shining armor, or even better, a farm boy? Or a literal monster? Huh. This alone is such a twist on the classic Mary Sue archetype that is enough to establish the more trolly aspect of Palutena as a character. Like, you spend the whole game climbing all the way up, conquering both hell, heaven, and the stuff in between, and the goddess that gave you the mission can just decide to turn you into a nose for the rest of your life because you died too many times or because you got lost in the third dungeon or something. And horrible and honestly pretty funny behavior that not only reflects the often scummy aspect of Greek gods, but also the parodic tone of the game. And while the Game Boy sequel didn't really evolve this aspect of her character, I think this twist alone was the base for the incredible glow up she would have received 25 years later.